Well. Welcome into the Farzy Show. I'm Marc Farzy, out of here at the Steven Singer Studios. We got Geoff Mosher joining us in just a little bit to talk about all things Eagles and Jets. Everyone's really pumped for that game, especially after what they watched last night. I'm following the Flyers. I'm following the Sixers. And when I'm not watching the games, I'm scrolling Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Scrolling Twitter. And it was like all the tweets were the same. It was like, this team sucks. That team sucks. This guy might still be hurt. That guy might still be hurt. Oh, what's this coach doing? And that was pretty much the way to sum up both games, unfortunately. But let's start it off with those 10-9-8 76ers before we get into anything else, because I still have really no clue. Doc Rivers said after the game that they were trying to get Joel Embiid the ball on the final play. And if you saw the final play featured no point guard on the floor, like nobody to handle the ball. And there was 6 seconds left on the clock. So there was at least another pass in there, as there ended up being another pass in there. So I thought that was interesting, although, Doc, and you'll hear him say it was hard to score with 6 seconds left in the game. Okay, folks? It's hard to score with 6 seconds left in the game. Let me just say it's hard to score. So everything that you hear, everything that you saw last night, just realize, hey, this is hard, okay? Professional sports is hard. So anyway, thank you for letting me get that out of my system. So Tobias Harris gets the ball, dribbles around for about 5.5 seconds of the 6.2, I believe that were still on the clock, and then dishes off to George Niang in the corner, who I think barely got the shot off at the buzzer before it was blocked anyway, and the Sixers had no opportunity to win the game. They lose by a point, 88-87. Now, while that play was unfolding, Tobias Harris now I did a lot of refereeing of youth basketball in my time, okay? I was a 10-year ref, and whenever I would ref like the really young kids, there was always that one kid that really knew how to dribble and really liked showing off that skill. I can dribble already. Look at me. I'm dribbling, Bob. Get your phone out. Take a video. That's what Tobias Harris looked like last night while he was dribbling around to nothing. Hit a wide open Danny Green on the wing. Did he dish to him? No, he said, no, let me go with George Niang, who, by the way, and I reference him a lot. My buddy Bennett texted me last night during, he goes, George Niang's YMCA game is off the charts. And by golly, Bennett, you're absolutely right. And last night he had that on full display. Set up in the corner three, shots blocked. No shot, really, maybe, if they go back to review it. And the Sixers lose the game. It was an ugly game throughout. It was honestly last night's game, best way to describe it, in case you were just stuck on the Flyers or just didn't watch the game last night. The best way to describe the Sixers-Celtics matchup was there were two pigs, and the Celtics happened to have the earrings on the pig. Like that's what you saw last night. Both teams played ugly. You can laud the defense, how great their defense was and all that, but the Celtics were just a little less ugly with the earrings on the pig than the Sixers were playing that game. And to go through some of the numbers for you last night, Sixers shot 37% from the floor after shooting 25% from the floor in the first half. Then the Sixers shot 25% for three from the game compared to the Celtics, who shot 39% from three for the game. That is abysmal. And by the way, the Celtics had 6 more turnovers than you in this game, 13-7. So it wasn't like you could consistently say the turnovers were an issue. But watching this game, there was no fluidity to the Sixers offense. And you look at the assists after the game, it kind of speaks to that as well. 20 and 18 assists. I'm shocked to see the Sixers even had 20 and even more assists than the Celtics did. I looked at Tyrese Maxey's game, starting point guard last night. He gets taken out of the game in the first quarter. About 4 minutes into it, Doc's like, emergency, emergency. The Celtics are hitting everything. We're hitting nothing. He takes Maxey out. I believe Maxey had 1 assist on the entire night. Then he puts the Milton fella in, the Shake Milton guy. And Shake Milton comes out there and just goes off like 12 points in the first quarter. Just absolutely amazing. All right, he gets basically all their points in the first quarter. And then from that point on, he was really your only consistent scorer throughout the game. Joel Embiid had his struggles, wasn't going to the line like he normally does, wasn't his shot like he normally does. And he and Maxey, if they're going to be logging these big minutes as starters, and we know Joel Embiid, we know what he could be. He's just come back from COVID, and I'm not concerned about what he's going to be giving the Sixers going forward. But just talking about the last 2 nights, what the Sixers team has gone through. You have looked at Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. Embiid shooting 7 for 33. Well, Tyrese Maxey's 5 for 25. Folks, that ain't going to get it done. Now, you might say, well, the Celtics are a complete team. I mean, they're a hot team since the start of the season. They came out sputtering. They're having some issues. And now they've righted the ship. You got them at the wrong time. How many of these teams that are actually playoff teams in the Eastern Conference you're going to have to look at and go, oh, well, we just caught them at the wrong time. No problem. The Nets, for instance, now the Celtics, for instance, you're going to be looking at these teams saying, oh, what are we going to do? The Knicks, another team. What are you going to be looking at when you can look at these teams and say, oh, what's the future hold for the Sixers when they face these guys down the line when it really matters? Well, I wish I could answer that question, but right now it doesn't look good. I mean, I wish I could tell you what the future is going to be, but I can't. And what I'm looking at right now, when I look at this basketball team, is a team that really needs somebody else. Because Tobias Harris, and I know, look, this isn't breaking news. He's not a max player deal. All right, he's not a max player. He's not a max deal player, okay? But he is, factually speaking, because he signed a max deal, a lot of money. But you mean to tell me in that moment he was dribbling the basketball like a fifth grader? You mean to tell me in that moment that was a max player? He made nothing happen on that play. Max player gets that ball in that situation, you got to score that basketball. You got to put it on your shoulders, or you got to make sure you either see Danny Green for a shot or see George Niang earlier. I mean, the bottom line, I'm hoping you don't even see George Niang. I'm hoping you can find a way to get to Joel Embiid, because that apparently was the goal of the play, even though you never know by looking at it. But Tobias Harris came up extremely small yesterday, especially in that huge moment where the Sixers needed him to do something that would actually help them win that basketball game. He was off. B continues to be off. Matisse Thybulle, who I love, the shot's just not falling for him. He hit one big three late in the game last night, but there were a number of occasions where he was shooting that shot, trying to be the 3-and-D guy, and still it's all D and very little 3, unfortunately, from Matisse Thybulle. Love to see that step up as well. It was a very frustrating game to watch overall. Doc Rivers did try to walk us through the final play of the game afterwards. Here's what Doc Rivers had to say.
I thought what we were looking for was there. Honestly, we didn't get it there. And then I thought the execution after that wasn't great, but it's 6 seconds. It's hard to score. So, we didn't score is what went wrong with us, would be my answer.
Were you trying to get Joel?
Yeah. With the switch with a small forward on him, but it is what it is. I tell you, our post passing tonight, we had Tobias with Tatum on the post, couldn't make the passes. So we need work there for sure.
Is there any reason why you decided not to go with one of your point guards on that play?
On which play?
About Maxey or Shake?
Yeah, I just wanted shooting on the floor. Yeah.
Okay. How'd that work out? Because you ended up having somebody handle the ball for a while, and that was not a point guard. It wasn't a guard. It was your power forward. If you had the matchup you wanted on Joel Embiid, how come you couldn't get the ball to him? I'm dumbfounded. Absolutely dumbfounded. And look, you needed shooting on the floor. I just don't know if you needed to go all shooting all the time. Maybe somebody that could. I mean, the one thing with Tobias Harris, he can't create his own shot. He's a catch and release guy. That's when he's at his best. He's at his best when he has a mid-range game going for him. And if he's standing on the perimeter, somebody dishes the ball to him, kicks it out to him, and he just catches and shoots. That's when he's at his best. Creating his own shot, and not so much. But it was just an ugly, ugly way to end that game. And to hear that Joel Embiid was the goal in all of that, you would never know. You would never know. Here's what I do agree with Doc Rivers on after the game when he talked about the pace of play overall with the Sixers.
Well, number one is just the rhythm. No pace. We're walking the ball. Missing shots, too. We got to get Joel going. Number one, like we get him going, the whole team gets going. So that would be the number one thing. But that's 2 games in a row where I thought just offensive lackluster. Execution is really bad right now. But again, I'm not concerned by it. We're going to get through it. It's just we're dropping games while we're getting through it.
I think one of the things that makes Tyrese Maxey a very special player is when he's running the ball up the floor, when he's really bringing it up, he's really hustling, when he's trying to get something accomplished. And Doc has said this before, if he's slow bringing the ball up, that takes away a lot of the sting from his game. And that doesn't make any sense. And I'm hoping he realizes how good he could be. You didn't really see him take the ball to the rim too many times last night. If you did, there was a bad block or it was a miss, whatever it might have been. He just wasn't on top of his game last night. I just wonder if the stretch he went through without Joel Embiid, where he all of a sudden became one of the marquee guys on this team, has kind of tired him out a bit, because it certainly looks like it. And I remember even before he went on that run, he had talked about and was quoted about how he was tired and how he had been doing a lot more than he was used to doing, and he's trying to get used to playing at this new level. And then he came out and actually went on a phenomenal run where he scored 25 points per game over, an 8-game stretch. So I'm hoping that he's just going through a rough patch right now and get through to the other side, because, again, games with him going 5 for 25, that's not good. Same thing with Joel Embiid, 7 for 33. Unbelievable. I at least agree that the pace of play can be better with this team. And when I saw Shake Milton come to the game, I knew, oh, well, okay, we're going to rely on Shake to try to bail this team out. And Shake was hitting shots. Got to give him that. Seth Curry, another good game for him last night, by the way, while the bigger guys were struggling. So we'll see how the rest of this plays out. Now, before we talk to by the way, Sixers are back at it against the Hawks tomorrow night, 7:30 tip-off on ESPN, as a matter of fact. So we'll check that out. By the way, those Doc Rivers cuts courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts addressed the media yesterday, and you would really never know that this guy had the worst game of his career a couple of days ago. Still dripping swagger, which I appreciate. I applaud. All right. He did say, what did I say yesterday? I said, you know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for Jalen Hurts to say that they flushed the Giants game. It's like a turd. You don't sit and stare at it, you flush it. That's what he did. He said it yesterday. He goes, the Giants game's been flushed. We're going on to the Jets now. All right, good. The ankle apparently is no issue whatsoever. Very confident yesterday he'd be playing in this game against the Jets on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Doesn't feel like it's going to be at all an issue. Oh, you're going to be limited? Well, we'll see. I don't think I'll be limited. If I'm out there, I'm out there. I'll deal with it. This is the first injury that you guys have known about, he said. But one thing jumped out to me, and Geoff Mosher asked the first version of this question. Les Bowen asked the follow-up, more or less. Geoff's question, and we go over it in the interview as well. Geoff's question was about teams now maybe cracking the code on Jalen Hurts. Okay, well, if they want to run the football, one of the reasons they have some success running the football is because of the RPO. They don't know if Jalen Hurts is going to try to break a 15 to 20-yard run. They don't know if Miles Sanders is going to do that, Boston Scott, whoever it might be. They don't know who's going to be breaking that big run. So they do what a lot of teams do now. If you're going to run an RPO consistently, we're going to hit the quarterback because we can get away with it. And I'm shocked that they haven't done this more so to this point this season, where if you're going to have a RPO offense where that's a heavily featured item, you hit the quarterback because you can. And I remember getting into an argument with a lot of people about this years ago, and I'll bring it up to Geoff as well. But when Sam Bradford was the quarterback of the Eagles and Chip Kelly had just traded for him, one of the things I remember is trying to run RPOs with Sam Bradford. And it was like, he's an injury-prone quarterback, so guys will take liberties. As long as they have that ball in the mesh point, you can get away with hitting them. Even if Sam Bradford, who we all knew wasn't going to run anyway, wasn't going to run. And for the first time this year, I really saw a team try to do that with Jalen Hurts, and that's what the Giants did with Jalen Hurts. So Les Bowen follows up. And by the way, Jalen Hurts' reaction to whether or not teams have cracked the code on him, it was, yeah, we'll see, basically, is what he said. So here is how he responded to Les Bowen when Les said to him, hey, guys are getting away with taking shots on you. How can you respond to that? Is there anything you can do? And here's how Jalen Hurts handled that.
The Giants made a point of trying to hit you on those RPOs after you handed the ball.
Yeah, I can't get a call. Can't get a call.
What did the officials say about that? And is there anything you can do? Can you stick an elbow in the guy?
I don't know. I might have to pull up Remember the Titans the next time you try and come and hit me. Sunshine. Sunshine.
Sunshine. I'd love to see it. I would love to see it. But I don't think a quarterback can get flagged for hitting a edge rusher or a linebacker. I don't think they can get flagged for a low hit on those guys. I don't think. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Geoff Mosher will give us a little more info on this game coming up. We'll get into the Flyers coming up in a little bit as well. Just a very frustrating game for them last night. Especially after the general manager speaks, you'd expect a little bit of a better effort from them, and you didn't get that. And I really don't feel like Chuck Fletcher really said anything worthwhile. During his press conference, one thing I failed to mention yesterday was during his press conference, I just got the sense that every answer was, we'll wait and see. And I know when I was in sports talk radio and a caller would say, oh, well, we'll just wait and see. And I'm like, well, that sounds boring because everything is wait and see. You can put everything under that category. But if you're the general manager of a team in this city, wait and see ain't going to cut it, friend. I understand you might wait and see to fire somebody. I get that. You might wait and see to trade somebody. But in terms of the message sent, everything kind of fell under that umbrella. Other than we got to play better. Cool. Thank you. That fell right on par with most hockey quotes. Just, you got to work hard. Thank you. Hopefully you do one day. That'd be nice. We'll break down the Flyers a little bit more coming up in a little bit. Let me tell you about my good friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, ladies and gentlemen. Anita Diamond Stud Earrings. Available right now for just under $270. Colorless, near flawless to the eye. The perfect holiday gift. And speaking of the holidays, Steven Singer fully stocked for all your holiday gifts. Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah, everybody. Christmas just around the corner. Anything you celebrate, Steven's got the big gift. Even the real big purchase, the diamond engagement ring. No better place to go in Philadelphia than to a man that loves to celebrate, that for over 40 years he's been in the love business, making sure when Philadelphia falls in love, they have the perfect diamond to go for that occasion. So Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right on Jewelers Row. IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. Do what I do. All your big jewelry purchases, trust Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Actually, had a friend of mine the other day hit me up and say he's going to Steven Singer to not buy an engagement ring, upgrade his wife's ring. How about that? Not too bad. So make sure you check out Steven Singer, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right in Philadelphia. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price, the perfect price every single day. IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, I'll cover the whole gamut this man does. He's incredible. Joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, our good friend, Geoff Mosher. And joining us right now, the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line from Inside the Birds podcast. Inside the Birds, I should just really call it the network because you guys got a pregame show. You guys got, what do you got? You got the Q&A show with Jason Avant and Quentin Michael, of course. You guys got it all going on, and you, of course, do the Inside the Birds podcast with our good friend Adam Kaplan as well. Ladies and gentlemen, a man that needs no introduction, Geoff Mosher. What's up, Geoff?
What's up, Marc? You can call it Empire if you want. That's a network. Network's a nice term. Yeah. Empire seems more appropriate, I would think.
Yeah. I would, but then I'm going to see you and Cap walking around in the big, like, faux fur jackets and, like, the big top hats, like you're walking around with a cane. Like, that's just how I envision you guys when there's an empire involved. But, yeah, I guess empire would apply to you guys.
Well, we have an agreement that, when that starts happening, it's sort of like the scene in Goodfellas where people start showing up in, bad places, right? And they start you buy the Cadillac, you wear the fur, you know what's going to happen, because we got some deals that I can't really talk about.
Somebody winds up in a freezer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was just watching Goodfellas. You could not have picked a better time to reference that movie for me. When it comes to this Eagles season, as we were talking about before I hit record on this old interview here, it has been a bit of a crazy season, but I heard you ask a question to Jalen Hurts today, and I said, you know what? I got to talk to Geoff Mosher. Usually, when you see something a little bit unique in a young quarterback, when you see a defense play a young quarterback differently than everybody else, and the Giants blitzed Jalen Hurts more than anyone ever has this season, have the Giants cracked the code being that Jalen Hurts had his worst game as a pro to date?
It's a good question, and I'm glad you brought it up. So I felt like, and I'm still in the midst of doing some research on this for the pregame show on Sunday about blitz percentage against the Eagles this year. I felt that the Saints came after Jalen Hurts also with a specific type of blitz, by the way. It's not just blitz percentage, but blitzing a nickel back, like a slot corner, which by nature of the design blitz coming from that area is a wide blitz, right? And what I think the Saints tried to do, but they sometimes did a good job, sometimes bad, was keep Jalen Hurts in the pocket by sending the blitz around him, right? I thought the Giants did a really good job of doing that, tightening up their coverage, funneling pressure from both the center and the edge to keep him from breaking, contain, and having those long runs outside the pocket. And the Giants even said that after the game. They said we wanted to make Jalen Hurts stay in there and beat us with his arm, and he was not able to do it against the Giants. So I do think that is something you're probably going to see moving forward. More teams, especially now that he may or may not have a banged up ankle, we'll see. But more teams pressuring him, but not just pressuring him more, but pressuring him from certain angles that are intended to keep him in the pocket. And then he'll break a few going forward. They'll live with that. He did it against the Giants, but more often than not, if you can keep him in the pocket and get good coverage, you can get your hands on some footballs.
I was almost reminded of, and it was a much different quarterback, a much different scenario, but it was almost the same attempt. I believe it was a preseason game, Ravens Eagles. Sam Bradford was the quarterback, and I think it was Terrell Suggs that actually went into the backfield and hit Sam Bradford on a read option play in the last year of Chip Kelly. I'm watching that, and I'm thinking the way the Giants are hitting Jalen Hurts is very similar, where they know they can get away with hitting the quarterback, even if he's giving the football away. So will that change the play calling of the Eagles? If they see that from the Jets, will we see any variation of this Eagles offense, anything different when they face the Jets this coming Sunday?
Well, any good offense, any good coach, right, is going to recognize what the defenses are doing and then try to add their own counter to it. Obviously, Jalen Hurts' running ability itself with the ankle might also play into what kind of offense they think that they can run. He didn't really run that much in the late in that Giants game, and you wonder if that was because the ankle or because they were down by the touchdown and they knew they had to pass to get back in. I don't know. We'll see. That's something that'll unfold going forward. You brought up that game against Bradford. I think even a more recent example of teams trying different things is probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. Was it the Thursday night game where the Dolphins played the Ravens and they blitzed Lamar Jackson at some incredibly ridiculously high rate? I think it was like 63% of dropbacks or something like that.
I know it was 25 times with corners alone. Yeah.
Right. I mean, they really came at him with corners, specifically designed to keep him as contained as possible, which, even with Lamar, he's gonna beat you. But it was a successful recipe in that game. And this is what we've kind of talked about while the Eagles were starting to get stable. Like, you're doing something great, you're running the ball fantastically, and the more you're putting that on tape, you're running, then your quarterback design runs off of your conventional running game, the more opponents are going to just sell out to try to stop it and try to make you beat them in a different way. And that'll be the challenge for the Eagles over the last stretch here of the season, is now that they're putting stuff on tape that's much better than the first 6 or 7 weeks, and teams are trying to stop that. What are they going to do to counter it?
Mm-hmm. I know Jalen Hurts said today that he's basically expect to see me. I'm playing Sunday. The ankle's not bothering me. Are you getting the sense that's going to be the case, or is this all a facade from the Eagles quarterback?
It's a great question. I know Robert Saleh had said in his press conference with the Eagles reporters that he's not buying that there's an ankle injury. So
easy enough.
It's a great guessing game. He's a smart guy.
How about that Jason Kelce character shaking off a knee injury to come back into the game against the Giants? He talks about today. I know Nick Sirianni referenced how tough Jason Kelce is and all that. Should he be playing Sunday? You're expecting him to play Sunday?
It sounds like he's going to play Sunday. Usually if you're definitely not going to play, or if there's a real uncertainty, you're not in front of the microphone talking to the media. Right. Which, again, Jalen Hurts did the same thing too. So we'll see. I imagine he's going to play. They really need him to play, and he knows they really need him to play. So at the very least, I think he's going to give it his all. All he did was say was he was dealing with some swelling. Usually if you treat that, ice that, do what you got to do, it'll go down and you'll be fine. So as long as there's no flare-ups, I would imagine he's going to play. The really funny thing was Marcus Hayes asked Jason Kelce if he feels like he embodies what it means to be a Philadelphian, right? And Jason kind of paused and he started thinking about it. And while he's pausing and thinking about it, I'm just a bystander at the press conference, and I just start looking at Jason Kelce, imagining the Mummers outfit on him. And I'm like thinking, does he really even have to think about it before he answers? The guy wore a Mummers outfit. Is there anything more embodiment of being a Philadelphian than wearing a Mummers outfit on New Year's Eve or day? So, or at the parade, I should say. So I think he does embody that classic Philadelphia spirit.
Yes, no, he absolutely does. Speaking of that offensive line, what are we to make of Brandon Brooks? There was some talk about possibly him coming back before the bye. It looks like after the bye, if ever this season. What are we to make of the right guard position right now, the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, I would have thought he would have been back by now. It's usually, although the pectoral strain, I mean, if it depends on whether it's a strain is always a tear. It just depends on whether it's a full tear, partial tear. They don't give out that kind of information.
Right.
It sure seems like it was a pretty significant tear / strain for him to be out this long and not even be activated into the window yet or able to practice. And of course, Nick Sirianni said not until after the bye week, which is still a week away, a week from today, as far as when the bye is. More than that, do you even get an update? So it looks like it's going to be Nate Herbig at right guard, assuming Jason Kelce is going to play center. I thought it was interesting, though. Kelce was talking about Sua Opeta as being like the hot stock guy. He said his stock is hotter than Tesla's right now, which is kind of interesting. So if, as we saw with Nate Herbig, he's an adequate guard. He lost a lot of weight. He's in better shape, got a lot of experience, but he also had 2 really bad holding calls against the Giants. One that took a touchdown away, one that took about a 21-yard run, I think, from Jalen Hurts away. So I'm not saying the leash is short on Nate Herbig, but if Sua Opeta's stock is that high, the coaches probably are thinking the same thing.
Should I be worried at all about a relationship, the relationship between DeVonta Smith and Jalen Hurts, or is that all smooth sailing?
It's a great question. Nothing in DeVonta Smith's short Eagles career has given you the impression that he's got the diva tendencies and give me the ball or I'm going to complain. But he is a wide receiver. and so the history of wide receivers and a really good one, right? So the history would tell you, or the data would tell you, that somewhere deep down inside DeVonta Smith there might be a diva. Now, I do think in this instance, it's funny. Jordan Mailata was crying after he said he gets emotional after really tough losses like that, and I think that was DeVonta Smith showing his emotion. The guy wants to win, and you hope that those are the kind of moments that you see, and then you move on from there, that the next day it's fine, and that we don't want flashbacks of, DeVonta and Jalen Hurts kind of pacing around the sideline like it was Donovan and T.O., after that first rough game between them and start the seeds of that. So I think that's kind of one of a kind type stuff, but we'll see.
When it comes to this weekend against the Jets, I know a lot of people just look at it and say, the Eagles got this, no problem. And I'm not asking for your official prediction just yet, because I know you guys are taping your latest episode of Inside the Birds podcast with Adam Kaplan and yourself today. When we air this episode, it'll air Friday. It'll be dropped Friday, as we like to say. What do you expect? What are you feeling right now? Do you feel at least a bounce back game for the Eagles, a get right game going into the bye week? What's your gut telling you right now?
Yeah, I tell you, I really wanted, anybody who saw our pregame show or listened to the podcast heard me say that my gut told me to pick the Giants last week. Not that I think the Giants are a better team, but just, they had a little shake up there.
Yeah.
They had a little momentum. Well, not momentum because they lost to the Bucs, but they had won the week before the. I just thought, they're home, they're motivated, and I didn't. I still picked the Eagles to win. But my overarching theme on that, Mark, was that just because the Eagles have won 2 in a row and started to stabilize themselves, they are not good enough yet. And I don't think they will be this year, but to say where you unequivocally trust them going into any game to say they're going to win that game. Because if you don't play well, you can lose to a team that's worse than you. And the Giants did not play well, but they won that game because the Eagles fell all over themselves. So do I think the Eagles have more talent and should beat the Jets? Absolutely. If I were, a betting man, would I put my money on the Eagles to win? Absolutely. But does that mean I think they're going to go over there and win by 25-30, or that it's a definite win, and if they lose, it's the biggest shock of the century? No, I don't think the Eagles have garnered that kind of credibility yet to say that they are locks to win any game. They still have to show up and play clean games for the most part to win. They were able to hide some of the mistakes against New Orleans and Denver. Remember, Denver in the second half, Jalen Hurts threw 1 pick, almost got picked the second time, didn't, and only threw the ball 3 times. Now, they won because Melvin Gordon fumbled, right? And Javonte Williams had a touchdown taken back too. So if the Jets play a perfect game and the Eagles don't play well, then you could see the Jets winning. But it's hard to envision that scenario of the Jets playing a perfect game.
How confident are you, at least, that Jalen Hurts will have a bounce-back game in this game against the Jets?
It's hard to say. Like, I don't think he's going to throw 3 interceptions. I would say there were times even in the Saints game where he, from a passing standpoint, he was not as effective as you want him to be. And again, they're going to scheme. They're going to do things defensively. If he can't run, if he's really inhibited by the ankle, if that's a real thing, and he's going to be more of just a solitary passer, that's going to be difficult for him, and that will play into the Jets' hands. So that doesn't mean they can't win. He's had some iffy games, and they've won before. But I would not expect – the one thing I don't expect him is to turn the ball over the same way. But I do think you have to ask yourself this. The one thing I've detected with Jalen Hurts, sorry to be long-winded here, is that in some of his press conferences, when you ask him about running the ball or this being a run-heavy team, he tends to acknowledge it, but not like he doesn't want this to be known as a run-first, run-heavy team. No quarterback would, by the way. That's not just Jalen Hurts. So I wonder if the weeks and weeks of we're now a dominant running team made him feel some internal pressure against the Giants to throw the ball and show people he can throw it too, and maybe that led to some bad decisions that he doesn't normally make. You hope that that's not the case.
Last thing for you, in all your years covering pro sports and all your years covering the Eagles, who ranks above Darius Slay as like most fun press conferences to cover?
Well, probably someone who played the same position, and that's Asante Samuel.
Okay,
as far as like colorful language and personality and no holds barred. It would definitely be Asante Samuel.
Okay.
The great Asante Samuel story. I mean, not only was he an awesome quote in general, but the day that he reports to training camp in his last year with the team before they traded him to the Falcons, I still remember they had a PR guy named Ryan Nissan, great guy.
Oh, yeah.
And Nissan spent a good 10 to 15 minutes talking to Asante before Asante was going to meet the media. And what's going on there. As a reporter, he's trying to coach him into just like, ignore the reports, ignore the fact that they don't let's make this nice and comfortable and smooth. And you see Asante kind of nodding. Yeah, okay, I get it. Then Asante walks on over to us. This is at Lehigh. We have the microphones out. First question is from someone. So what do you think about the fact that the Eagles are trying to trade you? And Asante goes, you want to know what I think? If they want to trade all my interceptions, if they don't want me here, if they think I can, if they're playing fantasy football in the front office, let them do whatever. He just went off on the franchise. And I could see Ryan just like, everything I just said to Asante just completely went out the door. That's it. But that's what made Asante.
I'm tired. If they're tired of my big play making ability. Yeah, I remember that. I remember distinctly that quote, man. All right, that's the corners and wide receivers, man. Chock full of personality. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys check out the latest installment of Inside the Birds podcast and the newest installment, which will drop tomorrow on Friday with Inside the Birds, Adam Kaplan, Geoff Mosher, as well as what do we got? We got the pregame show coming up Sunday, and we also have you guys have Quentin Michael and Jason Avant for Q&A. Make sure you guys check that out also. All as part of the Inside the Birds empire.
Music to the ears. Thank you.
Geoff Mosher, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Mosher.
I'm going to go pick out some fur coats. I'll talk to you later, bro.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
Thanks. My thanks to Geoff Mosher joining us there on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. Always a great guy to talk to. He's waiting and seeing on a couple of different things there. And I know he doesn't reveal too much because they got their new episode recording today that drops Friday for Inside the Birds. So they got a lot going on as far as that goes. But generally speaking, I do get a sense from Geoff that he is rather confident this team can take care of business against the Jets and avoid any type of free fall. And if he thought otherwise, he wouldn't have the empire that he has with Inside the Birds podcast and pregame show, by the way. So there you go. Appreciate Geoff coming on there. Make sure you guys check out all his fine stuff. Does great work covering the Eagles, of course. Let me tell you about the great people at Rothman Orthopaedics. I mentioned to you guys last week that we're going to be doing a podcast. I mentioned it again yesterday. I'm going to be jumping on with the Rothman Orthopaedics doctors, doing a little podcast for them. And I really enjoy that. We're going to be recording it next week, as a matter of fact. When you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopaedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Visit them in one of their 30-plus locations in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, including 4 orthopedic-only urgent cares. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Hey, you want to make the smart bets? Unlike me, who bet Maxi's over 4.5 assists last night. He had 1. Well, you know what I should have done? I should have been not a big fat idiot, like I tend to be. And I should have used BetQL. I didn't use it for this bet. I was like, I got this. BetQL is the perfect sports app that you need right now to get the edge over your sports book. You need to download the BetQL app. It's the only app you'll need to make the smart bets because their best bet computer model. Let me try that one more time. Their best bets computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports. And they give you the reasoning behind why you should place that bet. Their model covers everything from point spreads, over-unders, player props. If you don't want to use their model and prefer to do your own research, as long as you do research, as long as I did it last night, BetQL has all the necessary tools for your betting research needs. Everything from sharp data, line movement, team summaries, lineups, injuries, breaking news, even a leaderboard to help you track your own success. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store now to download the BetQL app. Follow all the stories across all Philadelphia with PHL Sports Nation. That's Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience. Let me tell you about WinView. Got to make sure you challenge your friends on WinView. It's the only game in town where you can debate and end the debate once and for all. Who knows more between your friend and family or people in your fantasy league when it comes to the world of sports? If you want to break the monotony of family dinners and get-togethers, you can play a quarter of Thursday Night Football tonight, for instance, against a family member, friend, or somebody you're playing in your fantasy league that week. If you don't think your week is looking pretty good, maybe your key players are on a bye, WinView is another way you can win real money prizes for making predictions on the games that you love. Live predictions on the games that you love with the WinView app. Download the WinView app right now and have yourself a good time. Let's jump into our social media check-in. Ladies and gentlemen, I see the chat is popping today. Let's see what you guys have going on. Good morning, April. Nice to have you. Dan, what's popping? Great final possession by the Sixers, says Dan. And not so much. And I know you're being sarcastic. It's coming through the chat. By the way, I think we're going to change the name here to Chat Check. I think we'll just do that. Is that too lame? Or you guys like it? Check, chat, chat, check, chat, check. Because I was originally thinking that we're going to be putting up a lot of tweets and stuff like that, but it's just hard to do, man. Things are flying around here. It's better to read the chat and let you guys have your say. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Gabe. Nice to have you. John Cheeseborough, good morning to you, good sir. John says, I won't have time for isms today. I'll make up for it tomorrow. Appreciate it, John. Nick, what's going on? Nick says, JC, we're holding it to that. Dan Schwartz, angry emoji. Al, what's going on? Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody. Mally, what's up, buddy? Cody, what's up, Cody? Farzy fan, what's going on? Sean, good morning to you. Cody, hello again. Bet PJ is just jealous. Wait, what? I have no idea what that is. Brendan, what's up, Brendan? Doc is just as great as the play calling as 2 and 5. Doc Rivers is just as great at play calling as weeks 2 through 5 Sirianni. Maybe they're the same person. Cody, I imagine this is you imagining me being a youth basketball ref. I refed for 10, like when I was just starting out in radio and making like $4 a month. I refed a lot of games. It was a great way to make money. Let's see. I think the youngest I did was, I think the youngest league I refed was 6 or 7 year olds. And that was a trip, let me tell you. And I did all the way up through high school. I did some PIAA games. For those that don't know, that's the big wig association of high school sports in in Pennsylvania. I ref for over 10 years. Great. Ref for a guy named Steve Cupid. Great boss to have. And Frank Yowie were some of my head ref bosses. That's right. Great way to make money, man. Great way to make money. Cue the funeral music. Almost time to lay the baseball season to rest. I'm trying to warn you guys. I am not getting my hopes up. Even if the Phillies go sign Chris Bryant, which I'm all for, and Nick Castellanos and all that, I'm all for it. I have a sour taste in my mouth. By the way, we are officially in a lockout. The baseball owners officially voted yesterday. Yeah, we're locking it out. So no one's allowed in here. I just always imagine the big chain going over the door and the big lock on there. You locked out. But I want to take batting practice. You locked out. Oh, God, I really hate baseball now. I used to love baseball. It used to be my favorite sport. I hung on forever, and now I finally admitted to myself that I really like other sports more than I like baseball. Damn it. Sign of getting older. Al, hello again. Good morning. At Marc, you are the spot. You are the real Marc. Are you the real Marc? That's funny. No, I actually comment. Here, I'll prove it. Hi. There. No, it's at the bottom of the chat. I'll get to that later. I need more Harris. I need more from Harris. Mally, we all do. I totally agree with you. Here's what's so annoying. Again, max contract deal, which is will get shouted from the rooftops forever. But to round out an 8-point game for yourself when you don't have that Ben Simmons fella, when you don't remember him, Ben Simmons, remember that story? Joel Embiid isn't shooting anything worth bragging about right now. And for you to come up with 8 points in a game like that is inexcusable. And for you to have the ball in your hands the way that game ended and not dished to anyone else until there was about 8 tenths of a second left on the clock, inexcusable. And I love Tobias. I have defended Tobias Harris. Last night is indefensible. There's no defense. I got to be real with you guys. And being real with you, I got to acknowledge how terrible a game that was. And how Mally said it. That's the best way you can say it. You need a lot more from him. If you're not going to have Ben Simmons, if Tyrese Maxey's going to struggle, and you thought he was the up-and-coming next one, I guess, and Joel Embiid struggling, Toby, where you at? I've seen Seth Curry step up in games. Toby, don't know where you're at. April, he might be a Marc, but he's not Farzy. Aw. He generally only pops up in the chat during interviews. That's true, April. You're on to me. I do like some of the newer people over the last couple of weeks to the chat have been like, how does Marc type with no hands? Aha! Recorded interview. Dura spec PJ. What the hell? What else is happening in the world here? A lot of craziness. April, yeah, but a different kind of crazy. What the hell's happening? Gabe, love this chat. So do I. Dak, what's up, Dak? Nice to see you again. Let's get back to the Eagles. Philly's big move yesterday. Knable, not Mike Knuble, but Knable. He's now in the Phillies bullpen. 1 year, $10 million. Is that what we're dealing with here? Okay. Corey Knable. Good luck to you. Welcome to the Phillies bullpen. Welcome to the party, pal. We'll see how that goes for you. Let's see. Luigi's checking in. NBA still doesn't start till Christmas. They'd be okay. Yeah. Weather Girl episode? Sorry, Luigi. Not today, my friend. April, not unless Geoff Mosher has a gig on the side. That's funny. Phillies knew a lockout was coming, made massive deadline move. Laugh out loud. Yeah, right. CBS crew for Sunday. Andrew, oh God, James Lofton, no thanks. DK, Phillies are butt. That's the most chat comment that people can have, Dak. Phillies are butt. They are. They ass, yo. Dan, they always seem to drag their feet, no doubt. James, what's going on? Nice to have you. Sam Bradford, yeah, remember that? That was a fun time. Mopar, what's up, buddy? As long as Middleton and the Buck cousins, are in control, we will have a Walmart of a team, not Nordstrom. They will not exceed the luxury tax. I would really love to see them go past that. I really would. Julian enjoyed the Empire reference. How could you not? Kaplan is fascinating. Luigi Kaplan is fascinating. Quick question. Why is it that we drive? Thank you, Dan. Why is it that we drive on a parkway and park on a driveway? This will for always be questions in our society. Is the book on Jalen to blitz, says Mike Casey. It certainly looks like it. Kevin, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not doing that. Kevin's saying, I just hate when we have to go week to week to decide whether or not Jalen Hurts is the future quarterback of the franchise, or the future quarterback of the franchise. I'm not doing that. I'm still in on Jalen Hurts. I'm not looking at one bad game and going, oh, my God. As much as they may have wanted to, did the Packers cut Aaron Rodgers after the first game of the season? No, he's the best quarterback in the NFL. and he sucked week 1. Does that mean he's cooked? He's done? No. Am I saying Jalen Hurts is Aaron Rodgers? Obviously not. But what I'm saying is every quarterback can have a bad game. Even when you're evaluating, like, here's what's crazy. Just to stand in my shoes for a second. Like, I'll come out on the post-game show that I do with Devin Cady and Derek Gunn, and I'll come out and I'll say, no, Jalen Hurts needs to hit this throw, needs to hit that throw. Oh, why are you killing Jalen Hurts? And I'm like, I'm acknowledging that he had some bad throws. And you could either brush that off by saying every quarterback has bad throws, or you could say, I understand that this franchise is going to be hypercritical of this guy as to whether or not he's not only the quarterback of the future, but maybe even next year will even be the quarterback next year. So it's not me being hypercritical myself. It's knowing that the franchise is being hypercritical, and I'm trying to go to that same level so that I can understand what they're trying to do in the not too distant future. So that's where there's the rub, as they say. It's like, do you look at one player and say, oh, you point out all the flaws, but you also point out what he does well, and you also try not to jump off the bridge when they have a horrible game like Jalen Hurts had against the New York Giants. We flushed the Giants, though. We're on to the Jets. So yeah, Kevin, I'm going to try to be real throughout the season, but I'm one thing I'm not going to do is let one game after I've praised the guy for 4 or 5 weeks. Oh, I forget everything I said. He sucks. Like, no, I'm not going to jump to that. I'll try to be as real with you guys as possible. It's the only gear I know. Nate, what's happening? As long as you spend smartly. What the hell? I think he's a franchise guy as long as his salary is $3.6 million. Okay, that's a good point. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Nate. Mo seems like a genuinely nice guy, says Kevin. He's got you fooled. No, he really is. Great dude. And I'll be honest, I'll admit to this, and this is something I haven't told you guys yet on the show. I think I'm kind of a jerk when I ask people to come on because my entire life I've always been like a total last-minute guy. Like, oh, shoot, that project's due tomorrow? Wait till the last minute. And I texted Mosher yesterday at I think what that was 2:00 to see if he could come on 5:30 or 5 to 7. I gave him that window. Hey man, got 10 to 15 minutes between that window. He's like, come on, man, can you at least give me 24 hours? I was like, just be happy I'm asking you when the sun's still out. Like that, even by winter standards, just be happy I'm asking you when it's still light out. He's like, you got yourself a point. 5:30. I said, sweet. Love you, Farzy. Jockstrap. Jockstrap's telling me that. Thank you, Jockstrap. Much appreciated. Kevin says, Empire vibes. Sean, good morning. How you doing? Nice to see you. Dante, DeGod. So y'all want Jalen, no arm Hurts over Russell. Oh, no. Hold on a minute. If you're giving me Russell Wilson, if that's happening, I'm taking Russell Wilson. Oh, I'm taking Russell Wilson. So, yeah, I'm the thing for me is that I am with Jalen Hurts for next year. I'm still on that path. If he ends up really being terrible down the stretch here against inferior opponents, not top echelon, teams, well, then I'll probably change my mind on that, but I'm not going to overreact to one game that he played poorly. So we'll play it by ear as far as that goes. But as of right now, I'm in for next year. However, if there's new evidence that says Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, either one of those guys would come here, and I know Schefter said yesterday on The Fanatic that he wanted, or that Russell Wilson would possibly waive his no trade clause and come to Philadelphia. All right, let's party. Let's see what we're offering here. But if it's mortgaging the future for one game for a guy who hasn't looked that good this year, I might change things up a little bit. Yeah, most likely by the end of this year, if you can make that trade, you make that trade. Act like it's either Russ or Hurts. Why is that the only option? Yeah. No other option? No, the other option, Dante, would be to draft Pickett or somebody like that and see how that would work out. I'm not there. I'm not. If it's between this quarterback class and Jalen Hurts, it's definitely Jalen Hurts. If it's the actual opportunity to get Russell Wilson, you get Russell Wilson. There you go. Matt saying, fight, fight, fight. Oh, we have a fight in the chat. Okay, there we go. Ricky's trolling. What's Ricky saying? Ricky? Oh, we got a Jimmy Butler conversation going on. Yeah, let's see. So y'all want Jalen on Hurts? That's where we got that. I'm confused. Russ option. Dante Mopar all day. But the first name, last name. Yeah, this chat is really bumping today, folks. Much appreciated. Perfect. All right. Thanks for everyone. I had a strong coffee. To God, John Axel Band. Good for you. Welcome in. Yeah, there we go. Thanks to everyone that commented in the chat. Check. All right. Appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Let's get into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. I told you guys I'd get you more Flyers information. Here's what I got on the Flyers. Rough game last night, as I said at the top of the show. Sixers and Flyers Twitter was very similar last night, unfortunately. But here, let me give you the goods on what happened in the Flyers game last night for anyone that didn't get to see it. Carter Hart looked good for the most part in net. There was really maybe one goal that you could look at and be like, come on, what the hell's the matter with you? Definitely the first goal was from the point, and that was by Trumbull, I believe it was, Trumbull. From the point, he shot it, and it basically went through about 5 or 6 different guys, and there's no chance Carter Hart ever saw it before it was in the back of the net. So give him a little bit of a pass on that. Then Carter Hart came up later in the first period with a great save. Somebody was right on the doorstep. He was able to make the save right there. Had a couple of saves like that in this game. One was on Panarin, as a matter of fact. Hart then couldn't stop a puck that Ivan Provorov was on defense in this situation, all over the offensive player. I forget who it was for the Rangers. And Carter Hart couldn't make the save. Provorov couldn't make the stop. They put the goal right through Provorov's legs, and that was it. Hunt had the goal. Third goal of the game, Kreider was in the slot. Lawton unfortunately couldn't clear the puck. Puck ends up in the back of the net. Kreider in the slot puts it right past Carter Hart. Morgan Frost had the only Flyers goal, and it was a little bit of a weird one. Claude Giroux had the shot from the point, top of the circle maybe. Looked like he was putting it on the stick of Cam Atkinson, who was right in front of the net. Puck bounced around their skates a little bit. Morgan Frost came in, buried it in the back of the net. A little poke goal, if you will, made the score 2-1, or 3-1, excuse me. And that was it for the Flyers scoring, and the Rangers later ended on an empty net goal to round things out. Overall, I thought Carter Hart looked good. A couple of goals right there that he really didn't have much of a chance on to stop. The one in the slot kind of came out of nowhere from Kreider, so that's a difficult one to try to jump in front of. Great goalie makes the save. He made a couple other great saves in that game. So, again, I'm not too worried about Carter Hart. I am waiting on getting some guys back, but right now, if you're Elaine Vigneault, he was criticizing how the team played last night. If you're Chuck Fletcher, I think you need a little bit more of a stronger message for these guys to really get shaken up. I don't know if someone's just going to get traded, not for the sake of just getting traded, but just realizing that people are going to lose their jobs. Ugh. By the way, Shesterkin last night made an incredible save on the power play against the Flyers, where he lost his stick and just hung in there. I didn't grow up playing hockey, but from everyone that I talked to that grew up playing organized hockey and even the pro level guys that I've talked to, they all say the same thing when it comes to a hot goaltender. Like, there's just no cure. Like, you can think you can have a wide open net and think, this is the one that'll beat him. And no, he'll find some way, some divine way of getting to that puck to make sure it doesn't get behind him in the net. So that's what it looked like the Flyers ran into last night as well. Flyers are off till Sunday. So they got to sit on a 7-game losing streak till Sunday, where hopefully they'll bounce back, and we'll see how that plays out. Sixers back in action tomorrow night, 7:30. Hopefully they can bounce back on ESPN against the Hawks. We'll see how that game goes. And one final thing that I was going to mention about baseball. I'm seeing John Axel. Farzy, I thought you played hockey a few weeks ago. Yeah, and I'm still sore. Thank you very much. Thanks to the Nasty Knuckles guys for having me out to that tournament. What was it? Oh, Sunday's going to be a busy day. Sixers, I believe, are in action. Flyers are in action at 6 o'clock. They got 6 o'clock puck drop. Then the Union play at 3, I believe it is, for the Eastern Conference final. And then you also have the Eagles kicking off at 1 against the Jets. So it's a jam-packed day. I forget who it was. It might have been Kevin Kincaid of Crossing Broad, who came out and said they should move the game back to like 3 o'clock. To like 4 or 4:30. This way people have an opportunity to watch the Union when the Eagles are over. Hey, man, I got nothing against soccer. I admit I'm more of a football fan than I am a soccer fan. Meaning the international stuff is awesome. The Euro, the World Cup, CONCACAF, that whole thing. That's pretty fun. But like MLS, I will definitely put myself in the category of a Union fan before I do with an MLS fan. Let's put it that way, because basically anything Philadelphia, I'm pretty much rooting for. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. Much appreciated. The chat is still popping. You guys are the best. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, guys. Jim Hyden produced the program, did a wonderful job as per usual. I thank Geoff Mosher for joining the show. This is a Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. My name is Marc Farzy. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow to give you all you need to know about the Eagles and the Jets kicking off Sunday in North Jersey yet again. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take it easy.